That's a new fastest lap for Britain, 1:53.9. New fastest lap for Fernandez, 1:53.3. Fastest lap for Campos, 1:53.0. The leader's just done a 1:51.7.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the stream. Make sure this is all set to go. Looks like we have another JRT that is incorrect there. And there he goes. Been a few days, so I think a few things here got a little out of whack, but I think we're okay now. So yeah, a couple of reasons I'm doing this stream today, mainly because tomorrow morning I'm leaving to Puerto Rico. I'm going to go see my dad, and obviously Sebring being such a close track to home that I wanted to get a live session in so that I could actually just have something to show my dad tomorrow when I see him. That, you know, we did some running at Sebring, and again, yeah, just
1:51.2.
mainly for my own personal reasons. I've been wanting to get out on track at Sebring and run with some other cars, 'cause I've been here before. I've done one lap in a pace car many years ago, so I have been around the track once, but I have been to the facilities many times, so it's pretty exciting to run here on the sim. We've got about 9 minutes left until practice starts. Just be a basic 3-minute practice session. Probably won't even jump in, and then we'll head on over to qualifying and make sure qualifying setup is good to go. I think that's what should be on there right now. Right, so we've got our qualifying setup ready to go. We'll run through that, and then we will make sure we switch over to the race setup, because believe it or not, now that I'm playing around with setups and doing all kinds of different things with them and just getting into that rhythm of changing setups for qualifying and racing and race situations, sometimes twice already I have forgotten to change the setup for the race, and 2 laps in you end up running out of fuel, and yeah, it's never fun. Excuse me. So wait a few more minutes here, see if anybody else wants to jump in. Oh, and so I actually took a day off the stream yesterday. We were recording a lot of big sim. Let me backtrack here because I'm like losing myself here. So yesterday we spent the entire mid-morning really shooting a lot of content for Rickmotech and shooting a lot of content with their full motion rig. So I'm gonna have a lot of content on that in the next probably 2 weeks. As soon as I finish putting together the video, we'll pull some content from there for the channel. But yesterday was really cool. Got to basically shoot this entire rig for 3 to 4 hours, and a lot of just conversations about sim racing and a lot of conversations about real life racing. So definitely a lot of insight. Got to be able to hang out with another pro driver and was able to get some coaching from that pro driver. Stuff that I have taken onto the sim now in the last few Ferrari races that I've done, and just taking the basics of that as well and applying it here, because it's basics. It's a lot of focusing on getting to the corner and getting into the corner, and I suppose that sometimes the mentality that I was in was trying to go in as deep as possible into the corner and completely destroying the exit just because the car was so unsettled. So what I was able to learn from him yesterday was kind of what I've talked about on this channel before as well. It's not really learning it, it's just kind of reiterating it, because I think that the more and more that we do this, the more and more I do this, sometimes it gets easy to lose yourself. So I think that for several days I was running into an issue where I was just trying too hard to go too deep into the corner and just continued to mess it up, and it was just a downhill spiral, just because when I started messing up, I started getting extremely frustrated, and the driving it was a complete mess. So for several days it was a big hit to my iRating, my safety rating, but I think that I'm back in the kind of the right mindset here, so back to focusing on just driving the car. especially now playing with setups and learning with setups and all that stuff. So right now, my biggest concern, which tends to be, what I focus on most, is just getting my ratings up, because the more and more I try to consciously better myself at driving, the better the overall experience is going to be for me. And I just had to take a step back, and I was trying to push too hard, and learning to, like, not really learning, but like I guess remembering to take a step back has been hugely important, and it's definitely been a huge benefit to getting back to consistent driving. So we've got 3 minutes there. Just gonna keep hanging out here until qualifying starts. See if anybody else wants to come into the room, and we'll be talking through. I'll be trying to talk through most of the race, whether it is about what I'm doing or the mental health aspect of it, and just kind of I'll try to talk about what it is that I'm feeling in that moment. It's going to be 15 laps, so it's going to be probably about a half an hour race, so lots of emotions in half an hour. I'll try to go through some of that, and just try to keep it really clean, try to keep the line the same. Hopefully we get into some traffic, we can play a little bit with just that driving style, because it definitely changes when you're on track and you're just kind of in a boring kind of lonely race. It changes very quickly when you're in traffic and you have to defend, and you start dancing on the pedal a lot more, and you start kind of thinking about different things, and you have to think ahead. So those are all kind of the conscious thoughts that I'm trying to process throughout the entire race. So I'll be heading over to Puerto Rico tomorrow morning, so there won't be any streams or videos until probably Monday. Be getting back on Monday morning, so we'll try to get a live stream in on Monday when I get back. Something for the afternoon. Not sure what that will be yet, considering that Monday's going to be the last, just the last day of this week, and then we'll go over to, let's see what we got. So Ferrari next week. Laguna Seca, and then back to Sebring. There was also some cool stuff, I think, in Formula Sprint. What do we have next week? What happened here? So for sure, F3 Sprint a lot next week from Daytona. And then looks like this is like trying to start or something. Catalunya next week. Catalunya was not fun in the Ferrari, so we'll have to see. Looks like the session started. Where are we at? minute left in practice, so we'll start getting ready for qualifying. So last time I was here was probably 2.5, 3 years ago, doing an event for an aviation company, and we were over on the airport side of the track. Showed up to the FBO and we were able to get set up there, and I remember that throughout the weekend, immediately when we got there, as we were pulling in, we heard a bunch of cars running on track, and they were doing some testing. Turned out to be Indy was doing some road testing, so that was fun being able to see the cars up close. There's the Chateau Alain Hotel, and it's cool. There it goes. But super bumpy turn right over here. This is coming down the main street. All right, so make sure everything is in order here. Check our height and turn the pit limiter on. Burn the tires out a little bit just to get some heat in them.
Exit's clear. Don't cross the white line. We've got 2 laps to get the job done.
When I got into photography, one of the very first things I did was go shoot the 12 hours of Sebring, so I have a lot of pictures of GT cars and LMP2 cars from multiple vantage points and multiple corners. I remember standing behind one of these walls here on that hill over there, grabbing shots of I think it was the Ford GT, that blue and red one. This is another corner with I think there's supposed to be a big hill here on the right hand side. Lots of cool shots there too. When we moved to Florida, this was the second track we went to, Daytona being the first. And even here in iRacing, you can see the tarmac. It's so many different off colors and just variations in asphalt, just because it's such an old track and it's such a bumpy track. Just here on my outlap, just trying to take it as easy as possible, make sure my lines are clean, make sure I'm hitting every single curve. Just so that I have kind of a clear pattern to start my 2 qualifying laps. The car wants to push and understeer a lot at that speed, especially with slightly cold tires, so I'm just bringing it back and picking up the throttle just to settle the car down and get it into the corner. Probably when we get 3 or 4 laps in, we get a little bit more heat into the tires. It should be a little bit easier to carry some more speed and keep it flat out for turn 1. Still taking it easy on this first hot lap, just because tires are still cold. I want to try and maximize the amount of speed I can take and the amount of time I'm able to get. So just gonna take 1 more lap to get a little extra heat into the tires. close to the wall there, slightly picking up the throttle just to settle the car down. Just adding a little bit front brake bias just to have a little bit more control on the front. Another really bumpy section, so it's easy under acceleration for the car to want to pivot. So right there, I'm just trying to keep everything as in check as possible just to make sure I don't lose the car. I'm completely flat out through here, staying all the way to the left, right in the curb, and throw the car into here. Third gear, just kind of balancing the car with the throttle. And then this is all flat out until the next heavy braking section, where it's not really that heavy. It's just a quick down to fourth gear. A little late on the curve there. Messy braking there, back around the corner, but after that we ended up P5 anyway. See if we can hold P5. I need to make a quick adjustment here to the steering wheel, so let me just get out of here for a second. Looks like we're still holding P5, minute left there on the clock, so hopefully we're able to hold that all the way through the next 45 seconds.
That's the end of the session, P6.
Okay, so about a minute and a half here left before we're able to get going. Hopefully everybody jumps in a little bit. Well, hopefully everybody jumps in before that minute and a half so we can get going before, but if not, please respect. We'll keep it PG. Almost forgot. That would have not been fun. Alright, we're good. 5 seconds.
The air temp is 24 Celsius, V6. Alright Jose, here we go. Go, go, go! Left side. Hold your line, clear left. Good start, mate. Car left. He's still there. He's still there. Clear left. Car left. Still there. Still there. Still there. Clear left.
Should have kept it in third.
Car left. Clear left. On your left. Still there. Clear left. Okay, Jose, keep doing what you're doing. This is spot on. U5. The gap in front has increased to 1.0. The guy behind's catching. The gap's now 1.3. There's an incident in Gender bien. It's just 153.7. V4.
Damn it!
about you, mate. There's an incident in Le Mans. Right side's clear. Car right. Right side's clear.
Beauty of being able to carry a little bit more speed. Got both of those cars in one corner.
Increase to 1.4 seconds. Has been in that line, yellow flag, gaining on the guy in front. The gap is 0.3. He's pretty slow through, car left, clear left.
Alright, we gotta get past this person quick. Don't put him in the back.
Car right. Clear right. That time was 1:55.9. Good pass. Nice front.
lot more grip now. Barely had to lift there. No lift. Came out of the corner with too much speed, so we gotta fine-tune that section a little bit. Maybe brake a little bit earlier after that flat-out section. Basically, I'm just trying to consciously think about everything that the car is doing, thinking about weight transfer and thinking about the tires. This kind of helps me understand what's happening through every corner and understand what the car is doing. Obviously, all of that changes when you're in traffic and different situations, but normal driving conditions like this, that's all I'm doing is just paying attention to what the car is doing, paying attention to the weight transfer, and that's what really helps me to maintain consistent lap times. And I think there I have to slow the car down a little bit earlier, just because it continues to want to understeer in third gear, and the reference lap was almost flat out in fourth.
Okay, Jose, we're halfway home. Should be about 7 laps remaining on this tank. That was at 155.6. Good consistency. Keep them coming.
A little bit heavier on the brake is what I did.
The gap in front is increasing. It's now 14 seconds.
I inputted just a bit more pressure and held it a little bit longer. I could finally keep it in fourth gear. Let's see. Feeling a little bit better. Camera shifted a little late there, so what ended up happening was the tire slightly wanted to lock up, and that's why I almost oversteered. Starting to either lose focus or a little bit of front end grip because I'm running wide there on turn 1. Alright, I'm going to focus for the next few laps so I can avoid all these silly mistakes. no, 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 no.
Just had a walk on the track. There's an incident in turn 1. We've got about 3 laps of fuel left.
We got a 20-second gap in 3 laps. Let's see if we can close that. P3. Somebody must have gone off.
2 meters left.
right. Are we gonna make it back to the end of the... Let's see. Well, I'm not even gonna sit here and bother trying to get this thing back around. Out of fuel. But that's alright, at least we finished. P3! So that was a clear representation of where my head is at now. The last few days have been just utterly terrible on track. Just making way too many mistakes. So being able to take a step back now, I mean, it was clear there. P3 right off the bat with the first race. Before I had inputted the setup, and while I was still kind of just dealing with this whole mess, I think I was like near the back of the field, 15, 16, and just making constant mistakes. There was a mistake there on, what was that, lap 2? Coming right down the straight by the hotel. I think there was just one mistake there where I guess the braking was too late and the weight transfer messed us up, and that spun the car around. But other than that, about 5 or 6 laps in, we started getting a lot more grip on the tires and being able to turn into turn 1 flat out was pretty easy. I would say that the last, I would say probably laps like 10 to 12, just my brain was trying to focus on some other things, and that's when I had a few of those off tracks. I think just 2 off tracks. One followed the other one. Just turned in late and understeered a little bit too much, and went out onto the gravel or the grass, whatever that was. But other than that, lots of consistency. I think everything else was between 154 to 155s. Not sure if we hit the 154s, but I saw a lot of 155s, so that I'm very happy with. I'm happy with the consistency, and hopefully I'm able to get another race in. It's 4 o'clock now, so definitely later do another race, and won't get back on until Monday afternoon, so we'll be working on a couple other things, and Monday when we get back, I'll get back on and we'll do another run. Again, not sure what that track and car is going to be, but we'll make that decision on Monday. Usually that's dependent on really and truly like what I feel like driving when I wake up in the morning. yesterday when we were doing testing. Sure this is... Yeah. So yesterday when we were doing testing, we were just focusing on the Ferrari. So I was really excited to do the Ferrari stuff this morning, but definitely needed to get a Sebring race in on the F3. So we'll see. I mean, a lot of today was more about the track than the car. While I was earlier this morning, it was definitely the other way around. I love Canada. I love Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Done it a lot in the F1 games, but really enjoyed it as well in the Ferrari. Just because it was now the first track kind of back into the right mindset of, I guess, just being able to drive a little bit more consistent and a little bit better. So I was happy to get on track into Montreal. We were practicing at Montreal yesterday, so I definitely just wanted to get on and just continue that pattern that we were working on yesterday. And I think it went really, really well. I think it was P2 or P3 this morning. And actually, no, I take that back. The race this morning with the Ferrari held P3 the entire race up until I think 2 minutes left. A back marker started causing a bunch of issues for myself and another driver, so that ended my race. But definitely was not expecting P3 this time around. Almost forgot to change the setup, so with like 40 seconds left, I had to go back out to the garage and change the setup. So that was a close one. But other than that, I think obviously with some people that making a few mistakes, that gave me a lot of chances to get through, and a couple of fun, really, really fun side-by-side runs through some high-speed corners with some people, so that was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was great to be able to be at Sebring. Hopefully, definitely not next year, but next year I'm hoping to go to the Daytona 24 Hours. Maybe get back to Sebring. It's an easy drive. It's one of my favorite tracks to go to, just because you go out, you leave the neighborhood, make 2 or 3 turns, and you're on one highway, and it's about 2 hours north. Make 1 right turn, 1 left turn, and you're at Sebring. But it's a very easy track to get to, and pretty enjoyable track. The facility itself, it's a very classic and historic track, so there's a lot of history going around between. If you go down the main straight, you see all of the 12 Hours of Sebring winners and the year, so that's really cool. I was fortunate enough to watch part of the 12 hour in one of the like the private rooms upstairs, so that was a lot of fun. It was very comfortable, and you're kind of able to get TVs everywhere. So this is kind of my difficulty with going to races, is that when I go to a race, you're usually just in one corner. It's usually hot outside, and you're eating fried, disgusting food. Well, sometimes it's okay, but it's not the most comfortable thing. So I do enjoy watching the races from home, but being able to go to the race and be able to be in a room where a bunch of other people are actually enjoying the race as well, and you have all these TVs that you're able to watch the race from different vantage points, but you're also sitting right above the pit box, and you're on the main straight, so every time the cars went by, you hear the rumble. And we had a GT3 Ferrari pit box right beneath us. I think it was Fisichella, their team. They were right beneath us, so every time they would come into the pits, we would see them. Let me see if I can pull some pictures here from just like 2 years ago. Let's see. It was cool because I was able to go out there and take my camera and just do a lot of content up there when I was still getting started on photography. When I started in photography years ago, it was all just car-based photography, so going out the track and shooting 12 hours of Sebring was really fun. Now this was probably like 4,000 or 5,000 pictures ago. I think we're getting there. I don't know about you, but every time I'm like looking for a picture that I'm looking through my phone, I end up taking 3 times as long just because, oh, I want to see this picture, I want to see this picture. I may have passed it, so I owe you those shots. I'll try to pull them at some point, and we'll do something where we create some content around Sebring and the 12 hours, and I'll share those photos. So I need to go pack for tomorrow morning. It's a very early morning flight. I gotta leave here before 5 a.m. So time to put this battery to charge, pack up everything else that I need, and I'll be out of here very early in the morning. So if you enjoyed the race, if you enjoyed any part of the stream, please hit the like button. If you want to continue to see more of these races, or just come hang out, talk about sim racing, talk about mental health, or anything else, just please consider subscribing, and also hit the bell so you get notified when I'm going live again or I upload another video. And I'll see you in the next one. See you later.